This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, I'm Andrew Cole with the East Orlando Chamber of Commerce, and this is our second in a series of three with Chris Prati today, talking to us about how to market on our social media. But before we do so, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here, and I want to recognize our chamber trustees, which is Advent Health, Avalon Park Group, Avalon Insurance Services, Duke Energy. We have Fairwinds Credit Union, Suburban Land Reserve. We have Great Florida Insurance, the Orlando Law Group, and without further ado, I'm missing one. I said Suburban Land Reserve. Who am I missing? Uh-oh, I did it again. I'm missing one. Oh, geez, I hate that when that happens. Oh, Orlando Health. That was the last one. Sorry there, Orlando Health, for that. But I do want to welcome our trustees as they are great supporters of the chamber. We appreciate all that they do for us, and I want to make sure we're giving them due recognition as members of the chamber before we get started. So without further ado, Chris, you want to give everybody that doesn't know you a quick rundown, and if you are not muted, please mute your speakers. We will open it up. We do have chat. If you want to, if you're on a computer, go ahead and type questions in there, and we'll ask those as appropriate. And we will open it up to Q&A at the end. But to do a little bit of housekeeping there. But Chris Prati, thank you very much once again for being here today and doing part 2 in a series of 3. We got 3.0 coming up, and you're always a great pleasure to have here on board. So without further ado, take it away, Chris. You are on.
All right, thank you. Listen, thanks so much. I just really quickly, I've lost control of my screen. Like I can do nothing. I don't know if you want to take away my control and then give it back to me or something. I can't. For some reason, I can't get. I don't even have a mouse. Can we?
You're moving fine. You're controlling. Your mouse is moving on our screen.
You see my mouse moving? Oh, hey. Well, that's something. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, there it is. The presentation started already and I wasn't even ready to go. Okay, we're good. And listen, thanks so much for being here, everybody. Everybody can see me if I'm gesticulating like this. You can all see me. Little thumbs up if you can. Thanks so much. So I was thinking about this presentation, and if you've seen me present in the past, you know a couple of things about me. First, I really love what I do. Like, I love what I do so much. On Valentine's Day, I send my job a card because I love what I do. And when I do a presentation like this, sometimes there's a lot of framing around it, and I kind of build on up to what I'm going to teach you. And then what I teach you is very valuable, but it's not very comprehensive because we just don't have a lot of time. And then I frame it out at the end. I am changing that today. I was talking to one of my coaching students, and we were talking about this presentation in particular because this is something that I teach in my private coaching and in my classes. And she said to me, "You should just teach the whole thing." And I said, "Well, the whole thing is many hours long, but I can teach the whole thing in a short amount of time." And I messaged Dorothy, and Dorothy said, "Yeah, let's do that." So I am not going to waste any time. I'm going to try to talk a little slower than I normally do. I doubt that's actually going to happen because I'm going to ramp right back up, but we'll see. And for the next 45 minutes or so, I mean, just empty the brain and get ready to fill it because I'm going to teach you what I teach people who pay me a lot of money to teach them. And it's great stuff, and everybody's going to be able to use this. So we're going to be talking about organic attraction through social media, and that is the name of this presentation. And I am not going to explain it any further. Let's just go right into it. My name is Chris, and I help business owners get more clients by teaching them how to do their own search engine optimization. And everything's a search engine nowadays. You know, Facebook and LinkedIn and Google and Bing and Yahoo still out there. Everything is a search engine. And through the coaching and the training that I do, I teach business owners how to get on the first page of Google or the first page of whatever search engine and grow their business and get more clients. That's what I do. Normally, I would go through like 4 or 5 slides of the nice things people say about me. I'm just going to do it in one slide. I'm not even going to read them. You can screen capture that if you care at all about what people say about me. But rest assured, those initials are from real people, some of whom are on this call today. And I thank you and thank them so much for saying these nice very nice things about me. Okay, here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to first talk about why we use organic social media attraction. And we're going to go through all of the reasons that it's a great idea for something for you to start right away, like at 3 o'clock today. This is something that you're going to be able to start. We're going to cover that today. Then we're going to jump away from that and we're going to talk about systems and system-based thinking and why you need to think of your marketing as an entire system as opposed to a bunch of isolated efforts. And after we talk about systems, we are going to talk about how all things work. And there is one great graphic that I'm going to show you that really describes how all things work. And you'll screen capture it, and my hope is that you'll refer to it frequently. After that, we're going to move into my tested and perfected formula for social media attraction. And this is stuff that I not only do for my clients, and not only do I teach this to my students who are in my coaching groups, but this is something that I do. And I'll show you an example of where I've done it, and I can give you examples of where it's worked very well. And then I'll show you some examples of where it's worked very well just in the past week for a client. After that, I'm going to go through exactly what to post. I'm going to show you where to get ideas if you have writer's block for posting online, and we'll talk about when to post. And then finally, we're going to look at how you collect feedback, what you do with that feedback, and how you iterate your process from that feedback and what you can do to improve. So that's everything we're going to cover today, and let's just get right to it. Here's the reason I like to use social media for client attraction, and it really comes down to just these two figures right here. Facebook has 2.5 billion users who log on every month. LinkedIn has about 260 million users who log on every month. That's a lot of people. And if you're in business, the people that you're looking to attract to your business are probably on one or both of these platforms. And so your job in doing your own marketing is to attract these people to knowing your business, so that when they're ready to buy whatever it is you're selling, they know you and they know who you are. And so using organic client attraction through these social media, I have very broad targets that I can hit and that I can reach out to, especially with Facebook with 2.5 billion users. That's a lot of people. And LinkedIn, the 260 million, I think that's a 2019 figure. That's a lot of people that we can be targeting, and that we should be targeting, and that we should be looking to attract to our business. So this is why we use social media. There's lots of other things that we can do to attract clients to our business, but this is why social media is a part of that. And so the question that I'm often asked is, why not just use ads instead of doing this organically? Organic sounds like a lot of work. Why not just place an ad out there and pay for it and attract that way? And it's a really great question. And I manage tens of thousands of dollars of ad spend every month across multiple clients. The problem is, if you do ads before you do organic attraction, you have not proven that you have a methodology for attracting the right clients to you. You see, using organic attraction is a great way of testing your message and testing your images and testing whether or not people want what it is that you're offering. And that's a big problem that a lot of people have, is they think they have something that people want, but then they put it out there on social media and there's no response, and they don't get any business from it. And so you need to analyze that feedback and iterate what it is you're offering. If you're offering something that people don't find value in, you're not going to get any traffic from it. You're not going to get any clients from it. And so if you just start with ads, you're guessing. And I would hate to see someone pay money to guess, right? Because you can spend a lot of money on ads, and generally we don't get enough feedback on ads until we spend about $3,000. That's a lot of money to spend on a guess. So we like to start with organic to prove the concept that what we're offering is something that our prospects want. And the truth of the matter is, you can get enough organic prospects to come to you through Facebook and LinkedIn. I mean, here we are, we're all stuck at home and we're trying to find ways to market our business or take our business from person to person and now translate that to the internet. You're sitting there and you don't have a job anymore. You've been downsized, or you've been furloughed or whatever, and you want to take your side gig and turn that into a business. And that's a whole nother webinar that we could talk about, is how now is the perfect time to do that. You could literally start a business next week with a Gmail address and an idea for a problem that you can solve. And your first call is to Jennifer, who's on this call. You call her, and she helps you do it legally. Or Jennifer from the Orlando Law Group, by the way. And she helps you to get yourself set up legally. But then all you really need, a Gmail address and an idea, and a couple of social media accounts. You could have clients by the end of next week. If your side hustle is something that you want to turn into something. I really don't think that now is the time for people to be sitting around binge watching Netflix. They should be learning how to market themselves, and they could be turning their side gigs into replacements for the job that they had, or supplementing any income that they've lost. But again, I could talk about that for a whole webinar. What I'm going to show you works, and here's some organic examples from a client. This is just from this week. I think I grabbed these yesterday. On the left is a social media post, and I sanitize this so I don't like to show off who my clients are. But on the left is a social media post that happened in one day, and we can see that there were 715 engagements. If you look above and below, you can see the competition that I monitor for this client, an Orlando-based client. But there's, the competition is just not making it happen the right way. You can see their engagement is low, unlike the engagement from my client. And this is one post and that engagement. And on the left, we can see what that one post looks like over the course of 7 days or 6 days, with a reach of about 3,019. This is one of my posts. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you probably saw this a week or so ago. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, well, why? I mean, reach out to me. I like to. I share so much stuff on Facebook. I think it would be really. I love to have as many business friends as possible. This is a post that I made about a week ago, and what I was doing. This is something called proof. This is social proof. And I took an email that I received from a client of mine, an international client, and she had sent me this note after I gave her one coaching lesson. And she was able to implement what I coached her on that same day. And this is the email I got the next morning, where she said her mind blown. If you could mute out, if you're not muted out, just mute out so we don't hear dogs barking or whatever if you're on this call right now. So this one post, I show you this as an example because I posted this at about 11 o'clock in the morning. 12 hours later, actually 13 hours later, by midnight this same day, I can attribute 3 new projects, 3 new clients to this one post. And attribution is a tricky thing through social media, but I can look at tracking, and I can see where things come from, and I have spreadsheets that I fill out with every visit I get to the website. So I can attribute new business within 12 hours to this one post. This is how powerful this is, and this was just an organic post that I posted, shared to my business page, and grew my business just from this one post. And you can do the same thing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The way that I like to teach this is I like to zoom way out and look at the big picture and then zoom ourselves way in. And so it is important that we think about systems and we turn ourselves into system-based thinkers as opposed to component-based thinkers. And when you think about systems, you're able to look at how one cog affects the entire machine. And that's where, when you're doing this, I need you thinking big picture, zoom in, focus on the details, but think about how this affects everything that you're doing. And so let's first, and if you've anytime you've heard me talk, you know that I love to refer to nature. And so let's talk about systems in nature so that we can all understand what I'm talking about when I talk about systems. And so the biggest system that I can think of is the universe. And it is made up of many subsystems, but it is a large system. And a system is something that has multiple components that all work together. And the universe is a great example of that. If we zoom in on the universe, we come to our solar system, which is another system. And it actually has the word system in the name. And the solar system is a small component of the universe, but that is a system unto itself. And then if we zoom in a little bit and we look at the Earth and the Moon, that is a system which has a relationship. They have a relationship to each other, but they're a part of the bigger systems moving up. And then if we zoom in to the Earth is made of systems. It's made of ecosystems and other systems that keep the Earth doing what it does. All of the natural elements and species that inhabit the Earth, they're all part of systems. And then if we zoom into society is made up of systems. There's economic systems, and there's social systems, and there's groups of people that associate with each other. So these are all systems, and you can see here we're just zooming in closer and closer and closer. And then if we look at the individual within that system, you are made up of systems. You have your circulatory system, your respiratory system, your thought processes are a system. And so all of these systems, as we zoom more and more and more in, and we could even go deeper than that, and we could look at the molecular level and the atomic level and the subatomic level. Everything is a system. What's interesting is when you get to the subatomic level, if you get close on it, but you blow it up as a picture, it starts to look like that system, that very first system, the universe. So this is all very fascinating to me. So these are systems in nature, and these can relate to systems in marketing. And so in marketing, what we're talking about today is organic attraction. And organic attraction is just the macro of how you attract people to your business organically. And that is made up of subsystems. One of those is search engine optimization. And that is the process of organizing your content so that people find it very easily. And then there's your content system. And that is all of the writing that you produce or all of the images that you produce about what it is you do. Then there are external efforts, and that is a system of guest blogging or looking for people who will send links to you. And then beyond that, my screen went a little wonky. Beyond that, there are groups, online groups that you can be a part of to do research and get information and share information with and attract people through that way. So that is, and this is like literally, this is directly from the courses that I teach. Today, we're going to zoom in on the content system. And so now, much like we zoomed in on the universe, there is the content system, which is made up of your website and the pages on your website and the blog posts on your website and your social media. And today, we're going to be talking about your social media and how you do organic attraction through that. Well, now let's blow up the social media ecosystem or the social media system. And that's based on research and content ideas and your posting schedule and your ability to collect feedback and iterate that feedback. And so now let's look at the content ideas as we zoom in on that system. And that's made up of answering questions or showing proof or pure value. And sorry, my screen is just getting super wonky, and I apologize for that. Or sharing personal things, which we'll talk about why you might want to do that. And then we could zoom in on the pure value system, and that's doing tutorials or showing insider info or where things are going and so on. So where things are going with your niche. So you can see what we've done here is we've zoomed in on all of the systems, but really all of these are interrelated and they all work upward towards that big picture. And we could keep going, and we could keep breaking this down and zooming into these individual pieces. So that's system-based thinking from a marketing perspective. And then this is what I'm about to show you. This is nothing that I made up. This is stuff I've learned from some of my mentors. But I like to share this, and this is how all things work. This is a degrading logarithmic graph, and this is actually your memory. And how all things work is your memory is very strong right when you do something, right when you start to do something. You remember everything. You can remember what you had for lunch today and what you had for breakfast today. But as time goes on and we move to the right, your memory starts to fade on your efforts and the things that you do. And that's very natural, and that happens with all humans. We tend to forget all of the efforts that we do. So this next is an exponential graph, and this is a graph that's growing upward and to the right. And this is the effects of your effort. Generally, we don't get huge effects right at the beginning when we start something. It takes time for things to compound. And it's generally after a long time that we start to see the real positive effects of what we do. Now, I showed you a post that I made to social media and how I closed 3 clients off of it within 12 hours. That wasn't my first post. I've been posting for years. So that's the compounding efforts, the effect of my efforts. Here's the problem, and how all things work is you forget about your efforts at about the time when they're starting to take off. And that's where most people quit. And that's why we see many people, including entrepreneurs, who start something on social media. You'll see everybody, they'll start and they'll go for a while, but then they forget about everything, all the effort that they've put in. And right before things are about to take off, they quit. And that's something that we want to try to avoid. We want to keep going, even though we might not remember all the effort we put in, because towards the right, when you've completely forgotten about how you started all of this, but you're still doing it, the effects of your effort are there. There are only 3 things that really matter: consistent action over time. And this is true of just about anything you can do with your business, but when it comes to doing social media posting and client attraction through social media, consistent action over time is going to be very important. The next is educating your prospects. Your prospects are absolutely craving for you to teach them about what you do. In particular, the ones who are interested in hiring you. We'll talk about them in just a minute. And then analyze, iterate, and repeat. If you're not getting reactions from what you're posting, or your offer, whatever it is you're offering people, does not resonate and people are not buying, they are not interested in what you do. They're not interested in your product if they're not coming to you to buy it. You need to go back and you need to iterate your product until they come to you and they buy it. It's really that simple. And what we want to do is we always want to be seducing the 3%. At any point, 3% of the people that you're talking to have some small level of interest in what you do. And not all of that 3% is interested in hiring you. It's more like 1% of that 3% is interested in hiring you. But you need to seduce the 3%. You need to agitate what it is they're thinking enough to stop the scroll, right? Here they are on their phones, scrolling by, and you need to stop that scroll and have them go, yeah, that is what I need. Understanding the platforms, well, we're using Facebook and LinkedIn here. In the interest of time, I'm not going to jump over and show you how to use these platforms. If you're sitting here and you don't know how to post on Facebook or you don't know how to post on LinkedIn, you need to message me so that we can do a 10-minute tutorial. This is not the right place for it. But both Facebook and LinkedIn work about the same way. And so here's the secret to getting good traction on these social platforms. Let's say you have 500 contacts, or like even more. Let's say you have 3,000 contacts, and you post something into your feed. Have you ever been in a position where you posted something and then you went to your spouse or your friend and you're like, hey, did you see that post I made? And they're like, no, I didn't see that. It happens, and here's why it happens. When you post to these platforms, The algorithm in these platforms selects a small section of your contacts or of the universe if you're posting publicly. It selects a small sample of them and it shows your post to them and it watches for interaction. And if it gets the interaction, then it looks at the demographics and all of the characteristics of the persons or people who interacted, and it starts to show that to more of them. So demographically, a 50-year-old guy sees a post that goes by and just whizzes right by it. Probably more 50-year-old dudes are probably not going to see that post if they didn't stop, look at it, or stop and click or like or comment. So Facebook and LinkedIn kind of work the same way in the algorithm. They're going to show your post to a small subset and they're going to start to blow that out based on interaction. That's just how it works. And again, if you don't know how to post to these platforms, all you got to do just get with me and it's very, very easy. Okay, let's talk about what to post. So I like to post this formula and and I'm very strict about posting this with this formula. I like to post proof because if you're selling something or you have a service or you're a consultant, you want to prove to that 3% who you're going to elicit a response from, you want to prove to them that you know what you're talking about and that you can do what you do. So when you look at my feed, you see lots of proof, and I show client proof, and I show charts and stuff like that because that's the stuff that measures what I do. Testimonials also fall into that category. Pure value is the next thing that I want you to post. Pure value doesn't mean you should give away everything you do, but you should provide enough value to people so that they understand that you have a level of expertise that they want to be around. Client testimonials, slightly different from proof, because for me, proof is I can show numbers and I can show metrics. Client testimonials are the things people say. You can make those into quote blocks or quote cards and post them, and those go a long way. Sparingly tell people what you're up to, and sparingly post or occasionally post personal things. Okay, so what am I saying here? I'm really saying that you need to for personal stuff if you're looking to grow your business through Facebook, and you need to start using it for business stuff. I am saying that, and that's just the way it is. If you want to grow your business, then it's time to grow up. And it's time to stop posting pictures of a pile of gummy worms on your table saying, which color should I eat? And it's time to start posting proof of that you can help people with what they do. If you want to grow your business, it's time to do that. You see, we're living in a world now where we've blurred the lines between personal and business. We used to wear suits to work and casual clothes at home, and now that's changed. And now home has become work. We've been forced into that. And so now I'm sitting here in a t-shirt, but I'm at work. And my personal life and my business life are now intertwined and they're mixed. And the same is true of how you're posting to your social media. If you want this to work, you have got to just suck it up and you've got to post your business stuff to your personal feed. If you're super averse to that, okay, you're super, somehow you're working with something that you don't want people to know about, then you can segment your groups, with who sees what in Facebook. You can do that. I don't recommend it, but it is possible. Quote blocks are another thing that you can post. We see these all the time. I'll post these like maybe once a month, and it's just you find a quote that's meaningful to you, and you post it up there. Those tend to get great traction, and I have no idea why, but they get shared and people love them. So,
hey, Chris, 2 seconds. Do posts need to have pictures on Facebook? Does that help with reach? I don't mean to interrupt, but I got a couple questions in on that.
That's coming up. That's coming up.
Gotcha. We'll let you go and we'll do Q&A afterwards, everybody.
I want you to post to your personal Facebook and post to your personal LinkedIn. Again, segment your audience if you have to. You can create groups in Facebook and you can call it business. And then when you're posting, you can select business and only those people will see it. If you're doing something that that you don't want your family to know about or your friends to know about, I just post to everybody. My 3% is out there and I'm probably connected to them. And the people who aren't interested in my services can unfriend me. And a good friend of mine said in her webinar recently, just scroll past, and that's it. Then I share everything to my business pages. when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner, people are going to go to your Facebook and your LinkedIn to check you out. And by the way, I'm posting everything publicly. They're going to go to these things and to vet you. And if they go to your Facebook and they scroll through and there's just all of these pure value posts, and then every once in a while there's somebody saying, smart, 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 I'm in awe, that is going to ease the process of them hiring you. All right, let's talk about the content. We start with research, then we spend time writing the first line of our content, or the headline, depending on where you're posting. You might be able to post a headline, but we start with the first line or the headline, and then we work on the post copy. And this is something that just blows everyone away when I say it. Long form copy or long form content works better. This is like 300 words at a minimum, but upwards of 700 words does really well. If you look at marketing genius David Ogilvy, he was the one that really revolutionized long form copy. And again, that's a whole nother webinar, but boy, I find that long form copy just works so well. I'm going to show you how to do it in just a few minutes. We'll talk about using images as well, because images will help people stop the scroll. And in a few minutes, we'll talk about how to come up with ideas on what to post. So let's talk about research. And by the way, I'm going to get to a point in this where I'm going to switch over to my browser and I'm going to show you a bunch of tools that you can use. Here's what you do for research. Everybody should be asking you questions about what you do. Answer those in social posts. You could look at other social media posts in your niche or outside of your niche that get high levels of engagement, and you can just copy their format, copy everything they're saying, but put in your own stuff, make it yours. Groups and blogs. So inside of Facebook, inside of LinkedIn, there are a bunch of groups that you can join. You can go into those groups, see what people are talking about. When you see things that pop up a couple of times, maybe that's something you should be posting about. Same thing with blogs. Look at blogs in your niche and see what they're talking about, and those are ideas for posts for you. Check out what influencers are doing. Look at these influencers are getting paid a ton of money. They have teams of people researching what they should be talking about. Leverage that and just steal their ideas and make them your own. The headline comes first, and you need to spend 80% of your time on the headline. It's the first thing people are going to read, and it's what's going to get them to read the second line. So the headline absolutely is critical. This is where you seduce the 3% into reading your copy, and then you have a call to action in your copy somewhere, and you stop them from scrolling and you capture them that way. So your headline is absolutely critical. When you look at my posts, most of my time is spent on the first sentence. And then the rest of it is, the rest of it is what it is. The long form content works very well. We talked about that a few minutes ago. I want you to write 300 words or more. I'm going to show you a quick way of figuring out what your 300 words are, how you get to 300 words, and then you break it up. If you post one big long paragraph after seeing this presentation, I will find you and I'm going to take your keyboard away from you. You need to break it up in paragraphs. People cannot read long paragraphs. They just can't. TLD, you ever heard that phrase? TLDR, too long, didn't read. You'll get people reading if you break it up into smaller paragraphs and keep it going down. Make sure you write in your own voice as well. Don't try to be somebody else. Just write as you are. You want to be authentic. You want to be informative. And again, you want to be relevant. You're going to know if you're not relevant because no one's buying your stuff. So iterate and become relevant. All right, using images. So I am really hard on people for using images. Take a look at these two, the left versus the right. Okay, when I work with people who use images, I'm always advising to be as natural as possible in the images. There is nobody that has a computer screen like that chick on the left. It just doesn't exist. No one's walking, there's no big plate of glass anywhere, and she's touching it, it's glowing, and she dresses like that going to work. It's not real. People are going to ignore that. That's the clip art from the 80s of today. But, look at the gal on the left. All right, that's not a bad image. Looks a little bit more natural. Got a bunch of stickers on the laptop. I could have taken that picture maybe with my iPhone, maybe. So that's going to maybe stop my scroll a little bit. Woman on the left, I'm just moving right past. That requires no thought whatsoever. Get rid of those things. Now look at this. Chick on the left is stock image, but looks kind of natural. And then there's Erica from the Orlando Law Group on the right. I just keep plugging OLG just because they're the best law firm around. You have to, right? So, but which is going to stop your scroll? You're on social media. You're used to people posting pictures of their kids and their coffee. Guilty of that. but you're used to that. So you're going to stop when you see something interesting, a friendly face. Oh, what is she doing? What is she looking at on that? I'm going to stop. I'm going to read the first line. You got me. Now I read the whole thing. All right. So think about if you don't have a natural image to use, they can be hard to get. Grab something that's stock and use that, but make sure it looks more natural. If that didn't answer your image question, ask it again. Here's how to come up with ideas. Start with proof, pure value, and testimonials. You should have a million ideas right off the bat. You shouldn't need to do anything. Then venture into Facebook groups and start to look at the questions and the comments and the conversations that are happening. I'm going to show you a way to use Google search really quickly in just a few minutes, read blogs, and then see what influencers are talking about. I'll show you an example of that as well. All right, tools and workflow. I'm gonna hop over. I don't know if I can. I don't even know. I don't know. I've lost all control. I don't know how to get to my. That's that. That's not it. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, there's my mouse. Hold on. Get that, Andrew. There. Can I somehow get to my? I can't. I don't know. Andrew, I just want to try to get to my, let me just see if I can do this. I'm going to stop sharing share something else. Maybe that's my problem. I'm going to try to share an application, and I'll try to share this. Let's see. You see my Google? Great. Here's how you get an idea for ideas. So we're going to use the coffee niche just for these next couple of examples. If I'm looking for headlines, I'm going to type something like how to roast coffee beans. So now I'm just going to start to look through these for ideas. How to roast coffee in the oven. What a great pure value article that would be to write in your social media. How to roast coffee beans in the oven. The best coffee for cold brew. So there's a nice idea for me to write about. The best coffee for espresso. You know, I don't know, weight loss, you know, maybe that's dubious. Best coffee for energy, for a French press. Look at how you could expand off of all of these for your social media posts. So much you can do. So I like using Google and the Google suggestions because these Google suggestions are what other people are searching for, right? So these are the most popular searches that begin with this. So this is what other people are searching for. So you might as well just start answering these questions. How can coffee be decaf? Great pure value post. How can coffee affect pregnancy? Just be careful with the medical advice. How can coffee stunt your growth? God, I hope not. I drink more coffee than a Finnish person from Finland. How can coffee be whipped? That's very popular right now. All right, so these are the things that people are asking, and Google is presenting them to you just to make your life easier. All right, so that's how you use Google for ideas. Then I would go over to, this is Wolf Coffee Roasters, Australian coffee roasting company. Bear with me just one sec. Sorry. I'm just, well, anyway, my screen was going a little wonky with that screen, but I looked, there was an influencer, a coffee influencer, and you can just look at the stuff that they're posting and use it for your own. This is a free tool called Word Counter. I'm keeping a close eye on my time because I want to get to questions. This is a free tool called Word Counter, wordcounter.net. So jot that down, wordcounter.net. You just start typing here. What's the best coffee for espresso? And so you just start typing and it tells you how many words, how many characters, and then you get some other details over here, like your keyword density. Well, that's going to become important when you start to do SEO because now you're going to take your social media posts and you're going to repurpose them on your blog. So using this free tool, and I think there's a paid version of it as well, but I've never paid for it. This allows me to type, this is my word processor. I'm typing here and I'm looking at all of my data, including some of the most important data, which is my reading level and my keyword density. So word counter is where I start, and I write my blog post here, and I try to get to 300, 500, or 700 words, making sure you break it into paragraphs. You know, and you just, start typing your content here. Or you could copy and paste from your word processor into here. All right, next one's kind of secret sauce stuff, but it's not really secret. This is a cool tool that's been around forever. This is the CoSchedule headline analyzer. Remember I told you to spend 80% of your time on your headline? This is the tool to use to do it. It is free. Just do a search for CoSchedule headline analyzer. And what you do here is you go in and you type your headline, and it will analyze your headline and give you a score. Then you can iterate your headline and improve your score. So watch this. I'm just going to do it in real time. Coffee for espresso. Analyze. And it's going to give me a grade. And it gave me a grade of 26. Okay, so that is a very poor grade. This is on a scale of 100. So now let's go best coffee for espresso. Is that going to help me? That got me up to a 52, so a little bit of a better score. How to find the best coffee for espresso. That got me to a 78. So you can see, just by adding how to find, really improve my score. Once I get into the green, I'm pretty much done. Here's a like a super deep trick for you. If you write the words that will make you cry, don't do this often. Only do this like once a year. For some reason, if a headline has the word "make you cry" in it, you just get this enormous amount of click through. I don't know why. But look at what that did to my score. Even though I get punished for the amount of words that I had, it's too wordy. My headline's too wordy, but my headline is also irresistible. I haven't used this in a while, so if you connect with me on social media, you'll see within the next couple of days, I'm going to do something that will make you cry. Don't use this. Please don't use this often. It's just too weird. It's just too. I don't know. And then here is your source for free stock photos. It's Pexels, PEXELS.com. These are free for you to use anywhere. Let's do a search for espresso. And there's a couple of nice espresso shots. I probably could have taken that one with my phone. I could have taken that one. Try to get the ones that you would have taken with your phone. There's no way anybody on this call is doing this nonsense. So don't post that. I don't even know how that happens. That's witchcraft. Making that espresso art. Don't do this one either. Don't do the big coffee beans. Come on. Do something. Do something other than that. Do something that looks like you shot it. Okay. So there's your entire workflow, from getting ideas to writing your headline, how to find the best coffee for espresso that will make you cry. And then you head over here to Word Counter and you write about that, copy and paste it into a social media post, include an image. And then the last thing you need to do is have some sort of a call to action. Check out the coffee beans that I sell, or do you need roasted coffee beans? Here's a link to my website. Let's get back to the presentation. My dear friends, as I wrap this up, I don't know where it is. It looks like it's gone. Hang on. Apologies. Let me just cancel this. There it is. Oh, you're not seeing it because I shared that application. Hang on. This is just me not knowing how to use this tool. Give me just 1 second and let me see if I can get this back to you. Trying share my screen, share something else, and this. Share. Waiting. And now we'll play it. Here's your posting. Oh, did I lose it? Let's go. Here's your posting schedule. Remember, above all things, be consistent. I want you to post once a day. Okay, you need people to start seeing you, and you just keep posting and you keep posting. And when you forgot about why you were doing it, just keep doing it. Remember that degrading curve. I want you to post at about the same time every day, but I want you to test what time works best. So try posting in the morning, midday, night, late at night, and watch the interactions that you get, and then post more frequently at that time. I don't know why 11 p.m. I get the most interaction. So that's where I'm watching engagement. You want to interact with people by liking, commenting, sharing, things that people post about you. You want to answer questions that they ask in response to the things that you post. You want to send them friend requests if you find that they're possible prospects, and you want to thank people for their interactions. Then you collect feedback, and that means you look at everything. You look at the business that you're getting from all of this. It might take some time. It could take a week. It could take a month. But you collect the feedback, and did a post generate business for me? Analyze all of that data. Look at attribution models and see if you can find out what post somebody read that tipped them into contacting you. Iterate the output. So if a post isn't getting any engagement, kill it. Stop doing it. If your social cards that have quotes from Maya Angelou aren't getting any feedback, just get rid of them. And start posting more proof. I can tell you, whatever you do, you've got proof. And the more proof you post, the more likely people are going to be to communicate with you. And then just repeat the process. Okay, look, I love to offer crazy things to people that come onto these webinars, but I can't even believe I'm going to do this, but grab a spot on my schedule, 15-minute chat to answer a question, or a full 45-minute session, and we can really dive deep into what you're doing and come up with a strategy for you. A couple of ways to get there. If you have an iPhone, check this out. Just do this for me right now. If you have an iPhone, grab your iPhone, open up your camera, right? Open up your camera and point it at that QR code. And right away at the very top, you're going to get a little link that you can click. That'll bring you right to the place where you can get on my schedule. Try to grab if you're going to grab something, grab my afternoons. My mornings are a little bonkers because there's elementary school going on in my house. But point it there. Go to that URL, and no charge for this. I live to help. So grab 15 minutes for a quick tune-up, or 45 minutes if you really want to go deep and get some details. We have about 10 minutes for questions. Andrew, what's the first question?
All right, we did have the one on the picture. Sorry to interrupt you there when we did, but do posts have pictures on Facebook? Do they help with the reach? That was the question. I think you kind of addressed that, but just to make sure that we got that answered specifically.
Yeah. Well, posts definitely help with the reach because Facebook wants you to stay on their platform, and text-based posts just keep people scrolling. But anytime people stop, if you have an image that will stop the scroll, Facebook will reward you for that.
Sometimes, and we've seen this, like when we've posted a gallery of 3 or 4 pictures or things like that, it doesn't have the reach or the engagement that we've seen when we've had just one picture. Is that
that's not unique to you, but that might be unique to your situation, and that's the feedback you need to not post those and to post the things that you do get the engagement from.
Okay, we have another one. Is there a list of common headlines that are catchy? Anything to stay away from or things to go towards?
The words, if you start any headline with how to, you're going to get more engagement. How to or why, why fill in the blank is happening to you. Those are great. How to and why are the top 2. And then I think we discussed make you cry, only use that once a year.
When you have posts, or if you post on your business page and you go to it as a personal, is that a plus or minus for a Facebook or a LinkedIn thing to like your own company's post if you're an admin for it? Does that help or hinder?
It depends on your company. If your company is like, if your company is just your name, right? It's your name consulting, Dave Evans Consulting, and then Dave Evans is liking the posts from Dave Evans Consulting, that looks a little dubious. But you want to, if it's like mine where it's 9 twice, and I've got other people that are coming into my, that are helping out with my social media, that, but, if I like it, I might not have posted it. So if it's a company name, that's good.
So there's no drawback for that, I guess is what you're saying. Okay. You'll like this one, Chris. Chris is his one-on-ones are excellent. He's brilliant and honest in assessment. His integrity is evident in his consultations. He's a great resource for your business. So testimonial there from someone there. That's
unbelievable.
I'm sure that was from Gigi, and I'm sure you would love to have that posted on your Facebook page and or LinkedIn page there as a testimonial.
Yeah, I
with that,
I just found out, Gigi, you are amazing. Let me just get that back.
And so, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what else do we have?
So when you're posting, if you're doing things for your company or your business and trying to put that, be the expert is what you're saying to do. So post those questions in there to be a solution to somebody's problem. Is that what you're kind of saying with the how-tos? Yes. And you be the factual person and to make it relatable to what you have. And what if you are selling a product, or let's just say like an artist, or you've got something more creative. What would be some suggestions in that, like to promote something that's more, not necessarily a business service or a product for somebody?
I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
I think it would be like, let's say I'm selling a plant, and I raise orchids, let's just say, and I want to sell something like that. Is that, do you put it as a decor piece or a feng shui piece, is to put that information so people would want to buy it?
In the social media post, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody that is selling a product to show that they're an expert, to drive people to them to interact with what they're selling.
All right, let's talk about Connie, who I think might be on this call. So Connie sells CBD oil, nonaoils.com. Not a client, but Connie does. So I think what I would do is, and so Connie's is a product that helps people. So there's a lot of client proof that she could show. I don't know if I would show the actual product all that often, but I would show more of the client proof and let that 3% come to you and say, hey, I saw that you used the CBD oil on a German Shepherd who had a hip problem, and now that German Shepherd is running around like a puppy. What was that product? You kind of want to stir that up. And so, but if you're selling like a physical product, like a pot, a potted plant or something, you probably want to do like maybe 25% of your posts are showing that in an environment. And I think the best way to do that is to have a customer send in like a picture of it in their environment. So it's not just you staging it and selling it.
Okay, and then I know that you said it was recommended at least one post per day. A question here is there a recommendation of frequency, how often the post? Is there too much?
Yeah, you're gonna find social media fatigue happen if you start to post too much. And the algorithm is just gonna push you right down and no one's gonna see it. We've gotta be very careful with social media fatigue. So right now we're in an interesting era where there's so much information that's being produced by people about the situation that's going on, where we're all stuck, at home. There's just so much information that's being produced that posting 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, as long as it's relevant and it's getting engagement, is great. But if you start to see your engagement dropping off, that means people are getting fatigued, and Facebook is taking note and they're not showing it to as many people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, makes sense?
You got any other questions coming through? Please feel free to type them in.
Was that exhausting? Are you exhausted after all of that? Who's exhausted? You see you all laughing at me. I am. That was a lot of. Jen, are you exhausted? I see you. She was pointing at herself. She went like this. She went me. I saw her. Oh, Damaris. Welcome back. Damaris, anything to add?
Okay, so post on your business page is one of the ones I think I'm just to make sure I'm on there. How often do we share other posts? How often should we share other posts on your business page? Should you be sharing things from other people on your page?
Yeah, that's so neat to do, because when you share things from influencers or experts in your niche, you show that you're researching and that you're out there. I actually do it never. But that's me, because I just have so much content to share. I have so much proof and so much pure value to give. I just don't have to. But if you're stretched for content, find those people in your niche that are, that are very smart and share their stuff. It just makes you look very well researched. And a lot of times people are just scrolling and they'll see the headline and they'll see your name with it, and they'll they'll think that you posted it. I mean, I don't want to deceive anybody, but
okay, we've got two more. Do you use social media post schedules to auto post at certain times?
I do, yeah. I use Buffer is my favorite tool to use, but you can also just do it right within Facebook. You can schedule the time something posts.
And then, do videos get more attention than photos?
So videos are interesting because as I look at analytics right now, videos, everybody's doing videos. And for most of the week last week, we saw how much everybody sucked at doing videos. I mean, people who have never done, come on, it's true. You've all seen it. You've seen the choppy videos. You've seen this. Hi, it's Chris Prouty. I'm here to give you some information about, whatever, Jen, that's not a comment about you. We just know. But videos will get engagement. Videos do tend to need to be a little bit shorter. And the thing you need to remember, secret sauce stuff. So I'm going to talk real quietly. I'll get real close to this because it's secret sauce. I don't want my kids hearing this. 80% of people watch your videos with the sound off. It's just true. It's just how it happens. So jot this note down, Rev, R-E-V, rev.com. When you make a video, send it off to Rev for $1 a minute. They put subtitles on it. And then you upload that video with the subtitles, because you know what's happening. People are sitting in the bathroom going like this, and they don't want people to think they're sitting in the bathroom, watching videos. We know it's true. We can be honest about this. I see you laughing. You know why you're laughing? Because you do it. That's why you're laughing. I'm not. I'm in there closing business, so to speak.
Okay, so here's another one. What's your recent analysis with hashtags? Is less more?
Yeah, oh my God. People that are putting 20 hashtags on your posts, what are you doing to me? You're killing everybody with those. You're over hashtagging. No one's reading them. I'm sorry if I'm offending you. Hashtag Chris Prouty offended me. I would love to actually see that happen. You got to stop using the hashtags. You use one or two. Use those that really make sense. But you people that are maxing these things out with 15 hashtags, I have surprising news for you. No one cares, and no one's clicking on those things, and you're wasting your time and you're wasting everyone's time. Find more pure value to post. Find more testimonials to post instead of trying to figure out what the 20 hashtags are that you're posting. You're not living your life through a hashtag.
Have you noticed tagging people has not been quite as easy? Is that something you've been noticing on photos and things?
I'm very careful about who I tag and when I tag people. It's very strategic. I don't do it very often, so I'm not having a problem with that. And I can't say that I've heard of anybody else having that problem. Maybe if it's just an individual, you might be having a problem, and we should diagnose why that is. But I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, we have found, at least on the chamber side, at least this is just recent too, is the number of people I'm now limited to invite to come to an event. That just kind of started about a week or so ago on Facebook, trying to invite members or people to come to this event. I found that I'm maxed out at 50 that I can send out to folks, and I don't know why or how that started. And Dorothy said no, she hasn't had that issue, but I have. So
I just took a note on that. If I can get anything on that, I'll send that off to you.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
Beautiful people, my beautiful friends. What else do we have?
We did have one in here. Hashtag stop using hashtags.
That's a good one.
Anybody else? I know we're right at 3 o'clock or just thereafter, but we'll keep the questions going if you got them. we want to make the most of this and make this the most beneficial. So if you've got some questions, type them in quickly. But we do want to be respectful. It is a Friday today. So
we're entrepreneurs. It's Friday. There's still 2 more days to the work week.
exactly. All right. Here we go. How do you differentiate Facebook content from IG? I don't know what IG is. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, IG is Instagram. And so Instagram, wow, you got to be super careful with Instagram. So here's my thought on all of it. I love Instagram and I use it for personal stuff. I rarely use it for business stuff because my methodology is getting that 3% to me as fast as possible. And so on Instagram, you've got to stop the scroll. They've got to click more. And a lot of times they'll say info in my bio. Well, now I got to get into your bio, and now I got to find the info in your bio, and I hope it's still there. And then is there a call to action? Is there a link? Am I going to have to click on that link? Instagram, while it works on your computer, maybe it doesn't work that well. It only works on your phone. So now the call to action is hard to get through to people. Instagram works for some people. If you're in weight loss and you can show before and afters, it's a great tool for you, right? For me, doing digital marketing coaching, it's not a great tool for me, so I don't use it. So I can't speak as intelligently about it, except that I will say, eliminate the amount of steps it takes for someone to get to your offer. It should only be like 1 click. They should be able to get to your offer in 1 click. If they have to go searching through your bio for it, man, you're sending them on a wild goose chase, treasure hunt. Where's Waldo?
We had one, and this may be too specific, but any tips for a pharmacy?
So a pharmacy, that's interesting. I would have to do some thinking about that. It depends on what the pharmacy sells, I reckon. If it's just like a basic pharmacy that's like a mom and pop that's competing with CVS, I'd probably get a lot of customer testimonials about the one-on-one interaction that you get with the pharmacist, because you always know who you're going to be talking with. And so get your clients, even if you have to sanitize them, to remove client names, but just to put those patient testimonials, because you want people to see others getting a good response from what you offer. And if you're a pharmacy and you can offer that one-on-one and you can promote that, that's going to drive more people to your pharmacy.
All right, questions are starting to flow here. I was told, this goes back to Instagram, I was told you were supposed to use hashtags on Instagram. Is that true?
It might be true, but I mean, when you're overusing them, it becomes a cloud of hashtags, right? And it just becomes this big mess. And what the biggest problem with hashtags is, people started to use hashtags inappropriately, because hashtags were originally designed to put information in one bucket. And so you type, hashtag SEO, and you hit that, you click that, and you get all the posts that are related to SEO. But people started to write statements about their lives with hashtags. And hashtag mom of 3. Who cares? We get it. We see pictures of your 3 kids. We don't need all of these hashtags that are actual statements that you're trying to make to society. Find a screen printer and get a T-shirt made, and go walk around the Mall of Millennia when it opens back up. We're waiting for that.
Okay, here's another one.
I see you there, Johnny. We're waiting for that black T-shirt club, my friend.
Do you have any tips for credit unions? We are the marketing team from McCoy Federal Credit Union. Just here's a question. Yeah. Any quick tips for them?
Sure. And again, that's much like the pharmacy, where you are a niche business that's competing against much larger organizations like large banks. So you need to find your points of differentiation, which are going to be, credit unions, we know, high levels of customer service, that one-on-one, and knowing the person that knowing your banker, within your credit union. Those are the things that you really need to go after. And I think I would start my posts with, in the little brackets, know your banker, or do you know your banker? And then a testimonial or a success story, where somebody couldn't get the attention they needed from the big bank, and how you're differentiating yourself.
Is it worth to have a business Facebook page, or just link back to your website? I guess this would be maybe for an independent person, or using your own Facebook page.
I recommend posting everything on your personal, but you should have a business Facebook page as well. You want to have the business Facebook page because it's a great place for you to dump your posts into. So you create your post in your personal, and then you just share it to your business page, so that it's sitting there in your business page, so that when people vet your business to see that you're a real business, they see all of these posts in there. Then it drives them back to your profile, and they see all those posts there, and it makes you look very, very established online when you do that. And then there are some people, and I said at the beginning of this, if you're just starting a business or you're turning your side hustle into something, your Facebook business page could be your website, right? You need a Gmail address, you establish yourself with who? Orlando Law Group. And then you start getting yourself out there, and your Facebook page could become your website. You might not need a website for the first couple of months.
So going back to a chamber question, would it be better for us to post, if we're posting about an event or telling about an event that we have, for me to create it and then share it to the page, or put it right onto the business page?
So for the chamber, where there's multiple hands that are in this, I think you'll get more reach if you do it personally, but then take the effort to it's an event, so then you share it to the chamber. I think you'll get more reach by doing it personally. I'd love for you to try that and let me know what feedback you get.
Okay, so kind of post about it in our personal, but share it on the business page, talking about it so that it goes back, and see what kind of feedback we get.
And the moment someone becomes a prospect to you, whether or not they join the chamber, friend them on Facebook right away. Remember what I said earlier, if you're interested in growing your business, your Facebook has to stop becoming pictures of your feet in the sand at the beach. You have to stop that. You have to grow up, and you have to make it into a business tool.
Okay.
And that's talking to you, Andrew, and you are grown up, but for everybody else.
Uh-oh,
Steve,
we can't hear you.
Laughing,
So, all right, any other questions? Here we got another one. I noticed a new feature on Facebook shows who is following our page. What is it, to friend them too?
Oh, I would absolutely. You friend everybody who elicits interest. If you post something publicly, or you post something in a group and somebody likes it or they comment on it, you friend them immediately. But what you don't, here are the two things you don't do. You don't send private messages to people you're not friends with. Here are three things you don't do. Don't send private messages to people you're not friends with. Facebook will hate you for that, and they will suppress you. You don't try to friend more than 40 people a day, because Facebook will shut you down. So make it 30. And you don't friend someone, have them accept, and then you immediately try to sell to them. It happens to me all the time. It's so annoying. You should never try to sell. You should just be educating. If that 3% is going to get agitated, and they're going to come to you and say, I need you.
Okay. And then there was a comment, LinkedIn now allows you to create events on that. Just a heads up. Thank you, Tina. So, any other questions while we've got everybody here? No, we got some good Q&A coming through.
Raise your hand if you're typing. Who's typing? Who's typing right now? Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with you guys today.
Here we go. All right. Any tips on a bakery? You said you said for products.
Oh my gosh. So if you're a bakery, the first thing you need to do is you need to take a basic course on food photography. You got to do that. So go to creative. I think it's creative.com. Just Google creative. It's creativesomething.com. It's photography. A bunch of photography courses. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a course on food photography. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to go out and get yourself a DSLR camera with 85 millimeter, a 50 millimeter lens. Is Kelly out there? Kelly, chime in if you have a recommendation. I think Kelly's a photographer that might be on this thing right now. Get yourself either an 85 or a 50 millimeter lens, because those are great for shooting food, and then figure out how to shoot food in natural light, which it means put it in a nice setting with a window behind it so that it's being illuminated from back, and you just take pictures of absolutely everything. But food photography, you've got to do a really good job with it, because we all know from sitting in in Chewy's doing this, it just looks like crap when you do it with your phone. You've got to take good food photography, and you've just got to post it. And I was working with a personal chef the other day who was doing all of these social media posts because he's doing all of this cooking. It's Chef Cap, right? He's a chamber member, right? Find Chef Cap. Let that guy cook for you. Amazing. He's just amazing. But I was chatting with him, and he's putting all these social media posts, and he's typing, "Hey, I'm making chicken parmesan this week." I'm like, post a picture of it. Nobody's reading. But when they're scrolling through and there's chicken parmesan right there, it's like, make me that. So just get good at food photography and post it. You'll blow up.
All right. Anything else from anybody? Any other questions? I know we've got law groups on here. We've got realtors, got artists, we've got marketing companies, credit unions.
The guy who dresses me. The guy who dresses me is on this right now. The guy who like picks out all my clothes is here.
The clothier. There he is, Johnny there. All right, any other questions?
He just tells me what to wear.
Well, I'm not seeing anything else.
You guys are amazing. Thank you. You guys are just wonderful.
One last question. Okay, one last question. She's typing feverishly.
Who's typing? I'm watching you.
Hold on.
Wait.
It's coming through.
Should we ask long questions on webinars? She's writing a long form question. I did it to myself. She's writing a 300-word question. She didn't.
Doing the word search.
Yeah.
And do remember that you can, if you didn't, we will repost this. So if you didn't get the link to Chris's website or to be able to schedule a consultation with him, he's doing that for us today. We will have it reposted, so you have that. Okay, I started my business on my own without a firm. Please let folks know that. What's the question? Okay. Started my business on my own without a firm. Please let folks know that. Okay. I don't know that.
So you can start. Whoever this is started their business without a law firm. Listen, you are free to do that, just like you are free to do your own taxes, and you're free to do a whole bunch of stuff with your business. I don't know anything about the law. I know zero about the law, and that's why I use lawyers, and that's why I use accountants, because I want to focus on teaching people to do search engine optimization. I don't want to think that if I missed a document that I'm screwed at some point with the government. I don't need that. I got 4 kids.
And we see businesses all the time, and I do recommend that at least you retain one for questions, to save your dollars on things. Is make a list of the questions and things you need answered. Make sure that you have touched base with that lawyer to know what the steps are and what is included in that consultation, so that you're not surprised with any bills and things, just to make sure you get everything written out and clean and in the air, so that if you have any questions on that, you know what your expectations are, what the rates are, and everything that's there. But I do recommend it as seeing a lot of businesses, because the last thing you want to do is get yourself in hot water later, and now you're searching for somebody that has no relationship with you. Building those business relationships are very important, and I can say that honestly as a chamber professional here, that those relationships with those services, with accountants, with lawyers, with folks that do these things for a living, there is a reason they are in business for doing that, and it is very important, because you never know when you need it. You need to make that phone call, so have those relationships built.
I actually have, Jen's my lawyer, and I have her in my phone as my lawyer, so that like when I'm getting arrested, I can go, "Hey Siri, call my lawyer," and
it's there. Well, I think that's what we've got for today. We've gone a great series. We have one more coming up. We've got the 3.0 piece to this, Chris. We'll see in about a week or so, I think. I can't remember the date off the top. Do you recall it there? Dorothy, you can tell me the date quick. I didn't want to pull up my calendar.
29.
And have it here.
29th.
29th, I think it's another 2 o'clock call. Chris Crotty doing the 3.0 with this. This is third in this series. We've really appreciated what he's brought to the table. Chris, you're always amazing. Everybody have a wonderful, safe, wonderful weekend. And if you got questions, come back, check him out. He's on our website. He has, you can find him there. It's 9 Twice is where you can find him. And if you got questions, feel free to reach out to him. He's putting some great services out there for you. So thank you for your afternoon. Thank you for your time. The East Orlando Chamber is here for you. So have a great one. We'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Good to see everybody.
Yes, the best. Thanks, guys. Bye.